Morning. Welcome to the Art Lewis Show. That makes me Art Lewis. And coming up after the 10 o'clock news, we'll have open phones. At 11 o'clock this morning, we'll learn about Guided Grace and some esports programming they're involved in. But for this hour, coming up this Sunday is the final segment of this season's St. Albans concerts at the St. Albans Church in Bay City. We've talked about them before. Normally Kevin Cole is here to talk about them because he's involved, but he's off gallivanting in New York City this week and left the responsibility of promoting the concert to Greg Gwaltney, who's with us in the studio this morning. Greg, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to see you again. And not only Greg, but by phone, the special artist who is going to be with us this Sunday. Tell us who it is, and then we'll introduce her.
Yes, we're very excited to bring in to Bay City in March a wonderful award-winning Celtic harpist and storyteller, Carol Kappas.
And Carol, we say good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us today. Now, as I understand,
thank you for having me.
Yep, as I understand it, from what I've read in some press releases and things, you come out of the opera and, if you will, classical world, but you've
that's true. Originally, yes.
You've relegated yourself to this Celtic harp. Why now in your career, and what is there about the Celtic harp that's attracted you?
Well, that's a really good question. I grew up in a musical family of classical musicians. I started piano when I was 4, and I did classical music all the way up through at U of M. I studied voice, and after that, I lived in St. Louis, where I did a lot of classical singing. I was one of the people that got called for solos when big choirs were doing a Bach cantata or whatever. And I loved singing that music. But I always also loved the traditional music, and I always wanted to play the harp. So I can remember when I was a kid going down to the symphony and seeing that beautiful thing way back in the corner. You know, the harp's always back in the corner, and thinking, oh, man, I would love to play that. Well, at that time, a harp, you could only get a pedal harp, and a pedal harp cost as much as a small house, you know. They're very expensive to buy and to maintain. So, of course, my family didn't have that kind of money, but we did have the piano. So I continued with the piano. And then when I was actually about 40 years old, the smaller Celtic harps came into this area from California. They started making these harps, which were replicas of the harps that were played in Ireland and Scotland. And
let me ask just a quick question so we all understand this. If I'm not mistaken, a Celtic harp is small enough you could hold in your lap, right?
Oh, there are all sizes.
Okay.
That is partially true. That's partly true. Lap harps do exist. Most of the harps that we Celtic players play are about 3.5 feet high, and they have usually 34 to 36 strings. The main difference is that a pedal harp has 7 pedals, and each pedal controls 3 possible positions on the string: sharp, natural, and flat. So they can play all kinds of complex music with lots of different keys and modulations because their feet can change that for them. On our Celtic harps, we have levers, and the levers can change the pitch on the string 1/2 step up from where it's tuned. So I keep some of my harps tuned in C and some in E flat, and with that I can play in about five or six different keys, mainly. And they sit on the floor. We call those floor harps.
All right, so they're not the lap type. They're not the small lap type then, yeah. They're pretty decent.
I have lots of lap harps, too. Lap harps, but they're more restricted. A lap harp generally has 26 strings, And for what I play, I like to have lots of strings. I like lots of harmony, and I love the bottom octave on a floor harp has a rich, warm, dark sound that I just love, and that octave does not exist on a lap harp. So I mainly play on my bigger harps.
And the music, is it fair to say it's going to be traditional Celtic, traditional Scottish Celtic music?
Oh, that's a good question, too. Yes, I do specialize in Celtic music. I play the music of Ireland, Scotland, the Isle of Man, the places where the Celtic language is spoken, Brittany. But I can play all kinds of music on this harp, and I'm going to show you that in the concert on Sunday. I'm going to start with 2 sets of traditional music from Ireland and Scotland, and then I'm going to play some stuff that I write. I actually have 13 books of compositions and arrangements that I sell to other harpers on my website and at harp events. We have lots of harp events around the country, believe it or not. And I'm going to play a few pieces from some of my recent books, which are very, they're not Celtic necessarily, they're just beautiful harp music.
All right, we're back with you in studio with me, Greg Gwaltney from St. Albans Episcopal Church in Bay City, where their 4th and final concert of the season takes place this Sunday with award-winning Celtic harpist Carol Kappas. And Carol also with us this morning by phone.
Good morning.
Good morning again. And let me ask Carol, in terms of a harp, I mean, have you always been a harpist?
No. As I was saying, I was a classical musician. I played the piano, and my main instrument. I have a degree from UM in voice. So my main instrument was singing. But when I got a chance to buy a Celtic harp, which was much more affordable, the first harp I had actually was a kit from a guy in Minnesota that my husband could put together and build, and that's how I started on the harp, on this little kit harp. But it did have 36 strings, and I just loved it. I'd always loved traditional music. Traditional music is so full of emotion, and it tells the stories of the people, and I just think that's fascinating. So once I could get this little harp and I started playing it, that's where I started. And honestly, I had a Baldwin grand piano. I sold it. I didn't play it anymore. Once you start playing the harp, you kind of don't want to play the piano or anything else anymore. All the time you have, you want to be playing the harp because it's absolutely mesmerizing. It's a wonderful instrument.
Wait, can you describe why that is? What makes it so unique?
Oh, yes. Well, when you sit there,
Yep.
You pull the harp back against your shoulder. It goes on your right shoulder. And the harp is built of, it's like a triangle with 3 parts. The pillar's in the front, the neck's on the top, and in the back is a round or square box, which is where the strings come up through, and they resonate on the wood in that box. And when you pull that harp back against you, you feel all the vibrations of the harp. And when you play the harp, every string that you pluck continues to resonate and to ring until you actually stop that with your hands. And also all the same strings resonate together. So if I play an F on the harp, all the other Fs are sort of ringing a little bit in the background. So you get this very rich, very resonant sound, and when you're playing it, you feel the vibrations, and it's just a wonderful feeling because in every other instrument, you use your hands to engage some kind of mechanism which tells the instrument what note to play. On the harp, it's very elemental. It's just you and your hands on the strings, and I love that feeling.
And
Does that make sense?
well, it does. It does. And how different is Celtic music from other traditional music that you might play on the harp?
Oh, well, the thing about Celtic music is both Scotland and Ireland went through periods in history where people were forced to leave or had to leave to survive, and a lot of them came to the States. I'm sure you know lots of people whose name starts with Mac, M-A-C,
Oh, yeah.
that's a Scottish name that means son of. So if you're MacDonald, that means you're from the clan of MacDonald. I bet you know a lot of Irish people of Irish descent. When those people came over, they brought their music, and their music joined with other cultural music and changed in some ways, but in some ways, a lot of it stayed very much the same. There's one tune I play, which in Ireland was called Shularoon, Travel My Love. And when it came to the U.S., it came during the Civil War. That tune, new words were written, called Johnny Has Gone for a Soldier. It's a wonderful, poignant, emotional tune. And really, it's basically the same Irish tune, but with different words. So that happened quite a bit as well. So when you think of what we call trad music, traditional music, that just means it's the traditional music from those countries. But it also came to America.
It's interesting because when I think of Scotland, I don't think of the harp first. I think of bagpipes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of those over there now. But I don't know much if you know much about Scottish history, but in 1745, there was a huge battle. The Jacobites wanted Bonnie Prince Charlie to be instated as the king of England. They felt that he had the right to be king, not whoever was king at the time. And there were great battles as they tried to take over England and instate him as king. And at that time, there was a big battle called Culloden, and unfortunately, the English slaughtered the Scots. They won big time, and then they killed a lot of people. And at that time, they decided that, first of all, they wanted the land, because at that time, wool was a very important crop for making money, and they wanted the land to raise sheep. And they also wanted to eradicate the Gaelic culture, because they felt like those people had such a strong cultural feeling that they would rise up again. So at that time, harps were banned, and most harps were burned. We have very few harps. Same thing happened in Ireland at a different time. We have very few of those original harps anymore to even know what they looked like, because they were burned, and bagpipes were banned because they created a patriotic fervor in the people. So that's why, if the bagpipes and the harps are, for a while you didn't see as many of them. The bagpipes were really a war instrument that led the troops into battle. And the harps were burned, the bagpipes were gone. So it took a while for them to make a comeback. And now they're really big.
Oh, now and there are tattoos all over the world where they're featured. I mean, they're huge.
Right. Well, and in Ireland, for example, the harp is on the flag. And if you go to the Guinness Brewery, the harp is the symbol of Guinness.
Yeah.
You see them everywhere. You see harps everywhere.
All right, Carol, hang on. You got to take another break. And Greg, again, remind everybody the concert is this Sunday.
It's this Sunday, March 8th, 4 p.m. Reserve your seat at stalbans-baycity.org/concert series, or go to the Facebook page and find the link there.
And what time should people arrive? Are there pre-concert activities, or is it all post-concert?
We open the doors to the concert at 3, so you could come in ahead of time to pick your the favorite
Best
place
seat,
to sit,
right.
And then the reception is afterward.
Okay.
And there's no intermission, so it's about a 75-minute concert. And of course, I'll get up and talk a little bit in the middle, and Carol can rest her fingers a little bit, and then we'll have a great time afterward as well.
All right, we'll talk more about that when we return here on the Art Lewis Show after these notes.
Gotta go.
And we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, talking to Greg Gwaltney from St. Albans Episcopal Church, where he and Kevin Cole have co-produced a series of concerts. This is the final one of this season, and it's this Sunday at St. Albans Episcopal Church, featuring Carol Kappas, who is an award-winning Celtic harpist and a Michigan native besides, right, Carol?
That's right. Yep. Born in Clinton, went to school in Ann Arbor.
And you're still in Ann Arbor, right?
Yeah, I live just west of Ann Arbor in a little town called Dexter, actually.
And you also mentioned St. Louis. And that's nice music. Gee, what is it?
I lived in St. Louis for 25 years. It's a beautiful town.
Yep, I went to school there. I went to Washington University. So.
Oh, I lived about 3 blocks north of Washington U. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Yeah. I love St. Louis, but yeah. Being married to an engineer meant we moved around a lot. So
let me ask about the music of Scotland and Ireland, two very different countries, but a lot of similarities to some degree in the music and the style, isn't there?
Oh, there's a lot of similarities in the music. As a matter of fact, a lot of the old tunes, when you go back far enough in history, there was actually I guess you'd call it a country called Dal Rialta. It was easier to travel over by boat than over land, because the land was very forested and very mountainous. Mm-hmm. So the western part of Scotland and the eastern part of Ireland were all one country. So a lot of the really old tunes, like we have things called sessions where we take our instruments to the pub on a certain night of the week, and everybody just says, well, let's play this tune, and we all play it together. And a lot of those older tunes, somebody will say, well, is that a Scottish tune or an Irish tune? Well, actually, it probably was played on both sides of the water, because at that, if you go back far enough, that was actually one country.
So when you go to the pubs, it becomes a Celtic jam?
Yeah, when we what you would call a jam session, we call that a session. And anybody who has an instrument can come and play. It has to be an acoustic instrument. You can't bring your electric piano or your plug-in guitar or anything. And there are a lot of common tunes that most players know, and we just play. Like we'll say, well, let's play Fires at Midnight. Okay, so you want to play it, and most tunes have an A section and a B section. So then we might say, well, you want to play A-A-B-A, or do you want to play A-B-A? And we decide that, and then off we go. And we just play it, and when we get to the point where we've played it enough, whoever's leading the session will stick his foot up in the air. And that means...
His foot?
Okay, we're going to stop now. Or we might play 2 or 3 tunes, and when it's time to change tunes, somebody will say, hop, and then you go to the next tune.
Just like that. Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, it sounds like this Sunday is going to be a fun concert and music that we don't normally come in contact with, which makes it even more interesting, I think.
I think you will recognize some of the tunes, especially the last part where I'm going to play some pop tunes. Yeah. And it is, I don't just sit there and play. It's not like, when people hear it's a harp concert, they see a pedal harp in their mind with a gold crown on the top and a lady in a long white skirt. No, this is not like that at all. And for pretty much each tune, I will tell the story of the tune before or as I'm playing it. So you will get some of the history and the stories that are what these tunes are all about. I always think it's very important to know the story because that tells you how to play the tune.
Yeah. Well, Carol, listen, I'm looking forward to it, and we hope we get a really big crowd for you at St. Albans Episcopal Church this Sunday, March 8th, 4 p.m. And we'll talk more with Greg about that, but we want to thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, I hope lots of people will come because I think they'll really enjoy it. But whoever comes, I will be very glad to share this music with them. I sometimes even play house concerts for 20 people. I don't care how many people come. I just like to share my music.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Carol, thanks a lot, and have yourself a great day. We'll see you Sunday.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you. Okay, thanks a lot, and thanks for having me.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Carol Koppas, and she will be the center of attention at St. Albans this Sunday. Greg, we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to talk more about the concert and the church a little bit with Greg Gwaltney, all coming up here on The Art Lewis Show.
For 60 years, West
And we're back with you. In studio with me is Greg Gwaltney from St. Albans Episcopal Church in Bay City. What brought about the decision to do these concerts?
Right. This started a few years ago, actually. I started playing for St. Albans about 2.5 years ago. And when I became comfortable enough, I asked Nancy Mayhew, the priest there, if I could start looking around for a piano. And I explained to her that many, many kids go off to college or adult lives, but pianos never leave home. And there are a lot of them looking for a home. And sure enough, after about 6 to 9 months, I found a beautiful, beautiful Baldwin black grand piano that had been used for the last 14 years as furniture. And the people gladly donated it to St. Albans, and we thought we need a concert to celebrate this and to dedicate it. And at that point, I reached out to this person I sort of knew named Kevin Cole, and he graciously offered to play that concert, and we dedicated the piano. And I'm one of those folks that I always keep thinking of the next thing to do. So within a few months, I started thinking about this idea of a concert series. I mentioned it to Kevin, and Kevin said, well, if you do that, I want to be on the committee. He said, I believe in this, and I believe in St. Albans Episcopal.
It's interesting you got a Steinway artist to
yes,
consecrate the Baldwin Grand in your church.
Yes.
I imagine, though, after 14 years, it took some serious tuning and action fixing.
Actually, it was in great shape. It had been very well taken care of. And in fact, we moved it in, and I didn't tune it immediately. I knew not to anyway, to get it accustomed to the surroundings. But I started using it immediately, and it was in great shape. We did have it professionally tuned before the concert that Kevin played, and it continues to be tuned periodically, as you expect it to be. But it's a wonderful, wonderful instrument, and it's been a great way then to start this concert series. Each one of these concerts has been great, and as people may remember from us being here in September, Kevin played the Gershwin concert, and then in November, Jim Pagel came and played the guitar trio, which was wonderful. In January, we had Betsy Miller Scott, accompanied by Kevin Cole. That kind of shattered our records. I had to put up extra chairs. We had a huge attendance for that. And she belted out Broadway songs and saved the hardest ones for the end. I mean, there was no end to her voice and her strength. People loved it. And now we're going to finish the year with the Celtic Harpist. And we selected that because of the connection to the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Bay City and the importance of that culture to the city and the region. And I've reached out to the parade committee, and I hope that they'll come and join in with us and see it as a great kickoff for their week of festivities and the parade the following weekend.
So again, it is this Sunday, March 8th at 4 p.m. at the church, which is located at 105 South Erie in Bay City. So you do request that people reserve a seat. They're not reserved seats in terms of number. This is your seat. It is first come, first serve on seating, but you need to know how many people are coming.
Correct. We'd like to know how many people are coming.
And how did they do that? How did they?
Yes, there are a couple of ways. You can go to our website, which is stalbans-baycity.org/concert series, and you'll find a link right there on that page to click on and then put your information in. You can also go to our Facebook page, the St. Albans Bay City Facebook page, and you'll see posts out there with that link in there as well. And you're only giving your email address and the number of people who are attending. And as I mentioned earlier, part of that is because our hospitality committee is putting together a real treat for you, and we don't want anyone to be left out, which doesn't happen typically at a church anyway.
Yes.
There's usually leftovers.
Yeah.
But they work very hard to make it a very special reception, and so we need a good number for them. So we appreciate you signing up for that. It should be a wonderful thing, and the question I'm starting to get now is, where's the future of this? So we will evaluate this year. Kevin and I will talk about it, the others, and of course, as you can imagine, it takes everybody at the church to do this. Many people volunteer in many different ways. And
you did them just about every other month.
It's been, we've done about every other month, and we avoided December. We felt like December has enough concerts, probably. But we will evaluate, and we will talk with church leadership, and who knows? August, September, we may be knocking on your door again, Art, to talk about another round.
Do you get any feedback from attendees?
Everyone has loved these series, and many churches will have various concert series, and they have certain themes. And when I went into this one, I felt like the culture of St. Albans, which is an inclusive, all-accepting Episcopal church, I felt like an eclectic collection of concerts was the best to reflect them. And so we've told all of our people, we picked something different every time. It was the pianist the first time, the guitar player the second time, the Broadway vocalist the third time, and the harpist now. And we've given them the choice of playing spiritual religious music, playing secular music, playing traditional music. And so we're making our name on being that church that shows, even through our music program, that we accept everything.
St. Albans Church in Bay City this Sunday, 4 p.m. Reserve your spot. Greg, as always.
Art, thank you so much. It's been a great help this season.
Well, sounds like a fun time. We'll find out because I'm going to be there, I think.
Wonderful.
And Kevin will be back, too.
Yeah, yes.
The Globetrotter will be back.
He will be there. He will be there. Yes.
All right. Greg Gwaltney from St. Albans, thanks for being with us today, and we'll be back to close out and tell you what's ahead.
Looking for fresh ideas for your home?
WS starts us out with news of the world and the nation. Michael Percha in the WSGW newsroom to bring you up to date on the region and the state. And then we'll be back right after the news with an open line hour coming up next.
Broadcasting from the